Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fatback 4 Daily. It's Tuesday, it's the 20th of August, I think. It doesn't matter what it is. Welcome to the show. This show is brought to you by Paddy Power. Paddy Power is a bookies. You can get their app on your Apple or your Android stores. You can go in there, you can gamble away, you can get odds on Liverpool, sport, football, everything. Anything you want to get odds on, you can get it. So if you gamble, do so responsibly. If you don't gamble, disregard everything I've said. You know the drill by now. That's how we work. Tonight I have Grizz and I have Shaun. They're going to go through all the bits and pieces we have tonight. We're going to talk about Jurgen Klopp. We're going to talk about Naby Keita and anything else that comes along as the show progresses over the next half an hour or so. Grizz, how are you tonight?
I'm right, pal. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm in great form. I'm playing golf in the morning.
Always.
So, yeah,
good on you, pal.
I'm playing golf in the morning. I feel like I'm going to have a good day tomorrow.
Of course, you can afford to.
Yeah, absolutely. Shaun, how are you?
Good, Gav. Good. All about it, mate.
Good stuff. Right, lads, I'll tell you what I'm going to start with. I'm going to start with Jurgen Klopp, okay? And I'm going to read a quote to you, Shaun, to start with. Because I know Grizz will give me some context on this at some stage. Klopp says, I hope to continue like this, but within 2-3 years, I don't know what may happen. Maybe I'll retire. That doesn't mean it'll happen, but if it does, don't be surprised. Shaun, these comments come out today, and I genuinely don't know what to make of them. I don't know where they've come from. I don't know what interview he done them in, or made them in. When you read that, what comes to mind when you read something like that? It's not blowing my mind, but it's like, where's this come from?
For me, anyway, Gav, I think it's confirmation that he is going to call it a day at the end of his contract. For me, okay. Anyway, I think last season, I think it's taken a massive toll on him, and I'd say he doesn't fancy that for another 10 years, because it's going to continue to be like that as long as Pep is at City, and the competition is only getting better around Europe as well. Yeah, so it's never going to settle for him. So I think Klopp comes to me like the type of fella anyway that likes to relax in life. He doesn't like getting too stressed out, and I don't think being the manager of Liverpool Football Club for the next 10 years is something that agrees with him personally. Okay,
that's fair enough. Mick says here, I've been saying all along, he carries out his contract and he leaves. Barry Carr has mentioned Naby Keita. A couple of people are mentioning Avi Hansford. I've done a little interview with Avi Hansford. It is on our YouTube channel. It's about 25 minutes long. It's a really good interview. It's not all about Bruno Fernandes. It's about him and where he's from and who he supports and bits and pieces. It's a really good interview. If you get a chance, go onto our YouTube channel and watch it. Grizz, for you, what way did these comments fall with you?
So I read the comments and I read the article, and what I got from it was very tongue-in-cheek. I mean, obviously, when you just read out those statements that you've read just like that, without no context, it comes across, as Shaun says, that the guy's, you can tell he's stressed out and tired, and he's going to give up, and he's going to just retire and smoke and drink the rest of his life away, like we all think he's going to do anyway. But no, I think they were in tongue-in-cheek. He said it with a hint of sort of, joke about it. Look, at the end of the day, despite all the speculation and rumours and whatever, and what people have heard or may have heard, at the end of the day, it's true. One's personal life is one's personal life. So things change in people's personal lives, and, it may come to a point where he thinks, all right, enough's enough with my family. As you know, both of you guys know my view on it. I'm absolutely certain he will extend. I'm absolutely certain he will extend. And I'm sticking with that. He's not leaving us in 2022, in my opinion. I think it was just tongue-in-cheek. It was just a part of a whole interview he done. And that was obviously just one of the statements he made, but it was very tongue-in-cheek. It wasn't I wouldn't focus on it too much, personally.
Okay. A couple of comments have come in here. North Red says he's petrified of thinking life without Klopp. Jono says this isn't breaking news. I've always said he would leave after his current contract. His 7-year tenure at previous clubs aren't a coincidence. Barry says, let's look at the here and now. Klopp is here. Let's just worry about our playing staff. Mikey says, how good would it be if Klopp left? He came. How good would it be if Klopp left? He came back 6 years down the line and had a second go. I can't see that happening. Nick says 7 years at Mainz and Dortmund would be the same with us. I suppose the biggest thing to come out of this, Sean, is like putting the comments aside. It just shows, I suppose, how highly regarded Jurgen Klopp is. We were having a discussion last night on the show about where would he rank if he goes and wins even one league title and say another European Cup or 2 league titles, or another 2 or 3 big trophies. Where would he rank of all time Liverpool managers? I think the biggest thing to come out of these comments today is probably just the feeling towards Klopp and the dread people have of Jurgen Klopp not being the main man at Liverpool Football Club, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and Kev, to be honest with you, it's because the fans have seen what life is like before Jurgen.
Yeah.
Like, he has literally dragged the club from mediocrity. There's no two ways about that. You look at the end of Rodgers' era, it was mind-blowing. So it was just how bad it got. Even in European football, playing the reserves against Real Madrid, like, you know what I mean? That's not Liverpool Football Club in any way, shape or form. So it's not. And what he's brought it back is to the glory days. And if you want to go to the level of where he will end up, I think Klopp is going to touch Shankly level. And that's my view on it.
But he would have to go and probably win 1 or 2 league titles and a European Cup on top of that.
A league title. Definitely win a league title. He will win a league title with Liverpool. I have no doubt about that whatsoever.
Yeah, no, listen, I have no doubts about that either. For me, looking at Jurgen Klopp, it's just one of those. I look at him and I think, like you said, at the end of the Rodgers era, you had Hodgson, you had Dalglish, who done a decent job for a while, but the owners were quite ruthless on what they done. They bring in Rodgers. They eventually, bite the bullet in October 2015 and go for Jurgen Klopp, when most of Europe did not think that we could get him. And the biggest thing for me is the style of football is great. We're in contention, but Liverpool are feared all around Europe now, and that's the way they used to be in the 70s, 80s. Not so much in the 90s, but we're feared all around Europe. Nobody wants to come near us. So no, I just wanted to touch on it because it's a massive thing, and for me, thinking of Klopp not being Liverpool manager I dread the thought. And I did say last night though, let's get to 2021 around January, and if nothing has happened, then you start to worry. But I like what Grizz says. I'm gonna go what Grizz says. I don't often agree with him, but I do agree with you, Grizz, don't I? Sometimes.
Yeah, when you feel like it.
Yeah, when I feel like it. But I am gonna go with Grizz's thoughts on it, that it's probably something as part of a wider interview. I've just took that quote and ran with that to see what people thought, and I got what I wanted there because I wanted to see what people's thoughts were on Klopp not.
Another thing, Gav.
Yeah,
another major thing Klopp has done as well is, and he's fulfilled his promise in making Liverpool the final destination for top players.
Yeah, absolutely.
You look at our 11 now, and we have 5 or 6 of the best players in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. He's
something that hasn't been there for a long time.
Absolutely, and he's done a thing where you're getting to the stage where you're not so worried about players leaving. Your big players, where it used to be every year we'd have to lose one in order to try to do something with the squad. Talking of the squad, Grizz, Naby Keita is out with his game against Arsenal on Saturday. I seen a quote today saying he may be out for in brackets a little while. We've discussed him on this show, Grizz, a good couple of times over pre-season and the first couple of weeks of the season, and we're wondering, when do we start to worry, or is this just one of those things? Grizz, when do we start to really worry about this guy and his injury record and his inability to make an impact on this squad?
Yeah, I remember us talking a couple of weeks ago about this very issue, and I said, look, if it doesn't work out for him, it won't be because of a lack of ability. Sometimes players just can't get going at a certain club. Do you know what I mean? It's I think, look, your question says when do we start worrying, or when does it become a concern? You know what, Gav? I think we give him this season in terms of assessing where he is at the end of it, and if he's made any sort of contribution. Now, the only reason I say that is because according to my opinion, right, Keita, Ox are two of the reasons why we didn't invest in an attacking midfielder for now, this window. You know, the likes of the Leon chap or Bruno or someone like that. Do you know what I mean? Because we've got such high hopes for him. And from a footballing talent point of view, Naby is on a par, if not ahead of any of the players that we've been linked with. Do you know what I mean? It's just a matter of him getting on the pitch for like sort of a run of games, you know, a consecutive run of games. I don't think he's someone, obviously correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's played for us like in 3 consecutive games since he's been here. So it is a worry, it is a concern.
But I don't know if that's all down to injury, Grizz. That might be just down to selection as well.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I get that, but the point still being is that's still not a sign of great confidence not to have a player playing 3 games in a row. Now, obviously, there's reasons behind it. There's rotation behind it. But, you know, I think personally, I really think at the end of the season, we assess where he is. I've got great confidence. As long as he's fit, he'll be a success at this club. But he's got to get a run of fitness going. And I don't know what the issues are medically or what. You know, if there's any sort of doctors that out there that know about hip problems, whether they're long-term issues, you know, or you can sort of, you know, get long-term issues over hip injuries. I don't know. But I'm hoping and praying that he comes good this season. But I do think if he doesn't, then we may cut our losses.
Yeah, you know, Mick says there that Naby's high energy game means he needs to be 100% right before he comes into the team. People are a little worried over things. But Shaun, Grizz touched on something there, and he said he's really, really confident over Naby Keita once he stays fit. I presume you're in the same boat as that. You don't have any concerns over the lad's ability, or is a bit, you know, and what I mean by that is footballing ability and also the ability to make an impact for this team. It is all down to fitness for you as well.
100%, 100%. I don't think anyone could question the lad's ability. He's a brilliant footballer, so he is, and he's exactly what this team needs. And he is the definition of a Klopp player, in my opinion, a Klopp midfielder especially. So,
Shawnee, I'm so sorry. Just quickly want to butt in because Kevin Sullivan I've just seen on the comments raises a point about what we're just talking about right now, and he says we can't compare him to Bruno Fernandes in terms of what he's done or ability. Oh, we so can, because this Bruno Fernandes fella has done it in a Portuguese league, right? Literally, and whereas for one of the best clubs in Portugal, right? So I expected to batter everyone every week. Whereas Naby Keita was the star man of the Bundesliga, which is a far stronger league in Germany, you know, and so therefore we can base it along in terms of talent. We can most definitely compare him to Bruno Fernandes.
I think what that point might be making as well, though, is you can't compare him to the output of Fernandes. Whereas you look at what was Fernandes scored 25 goals or something last season. Whereas Naby's not going to offer you that kind of goal-scoring record, but Naby's defensive work as well is going to be on a higher scale than Fernandes. I'd say maybe I could be wrong in what he's saying, but I think he maybe meant not comparing the two players in their outputs.
Yeah, you know, there's a couple of people there saying, like, Kevin Sullivan comes back there and says he has done it though, Grizz. He's actually played. He's been fit. You see, I look at Naby Keita at the moment, and I put it all down to his international experiences over the summer. He clearly wasn't fit going to the African Nations Cup. He picked up something on top of that during one of the group games, I think, and he decided to keep playing him. You know, I think it ended up being Liverpool having to say, look, enough is enough, you know, and getting the player back. I have no doubts over the guy's ability. I said that I would write off his fourth season regardless, because, you know, somebody mentions there that he turns up in England without a word of English after he known for a year that he was coming. Yeah, he absolutely does, but and maybe that's something you can hold against him, that he didn't put the effort in with the language and stuff. But we don't know if he has since he's been here, you know. And the club set up sort of things like that as well, you know, English lessons, different things like that. I wrote it off because that whole year of expectancy before he signed put an awful lot on a guy that, he's still very young, very, very young player and relatively inexperienced in football when you think about it. This season, I still think you have to give him the benefit of the doubt because of what happened during the summer. Now, he maybe wasn't strong enough to say to his international association or manager, look, I'm not right, I can't play here. He's probably under a massive amount of pressure to play in that African Nations Cup because of the sort of player he is and the profile he has with his international side. I'm deliberately not mentioning his international side because I completely forget what country he comes from, and I always do. Guinea, yes, that's the one. But you know what I mean? Kev O'Sullivan again says the saving grace is his age. He's still young, absolutely. Maverick says the Bundesliga is not the same as the Premier League. Premier League has an intensity that takes time to acclimatise to, and some don't adapt. That's absolutely true as well. But I think I'd be looking for Naby Keita to come back from this injury, which for me has been compounded over the summer. I'd look for him to get back and start judging him then. I would start judging Naby Keita probably after Christmas. I'd put that out there.
I was just going to say, at the moment, this current state of play, with touchwood, the rest of the midfielders being all fit, right, including Ox showing great signs of improvement in the last game, I don't think we're going to rush Naby back now. I think we're going to be absolutely patient with him in terms of getting fully fit. I don't think we're going to see him until after the international break for sure. And that's
you definitely won't.
Yeah, and that's what, a good 4-6 weeks away now. After so basically after the international break, it will have been 6 weeks. Guys, help me out, someone maybe.
Yeah, but it would be. But like after the international break, then you're looking at a player that's come back. He won't go away on an international break if he's
no, he's not going nowhere. Yeah.
No, if he's required, to, I still don't think he will. But he comes back. But then you're looking to bring a player in, and you know what? An interesting one there. Ian from Paddy Power was on the messages there. He's hit him, Frank, on the comments, and he was talking about how we need more creation from the middle of midfield because he's looked at the average position of our fullbacks at the weekend, and it was in around the halfway line, which is unheard of. So Shaun, could people be panicking a little bit because watching our fullbacks in the first two league games, they haven't been as creative or as forward thinking as they usually are? Could people be looking, going, well, we need more midfield because this isn't happening for us? Or do you just think it's 2 games in, we've won both, we get into a groove, there's nothing to worry about?
I think it's a lot of panicking, to be honest, Gav. No, don't get me wrong, not seeing Robertson and Trent attacking like they were last season is...
I wouldn't say a huge amount, but it seems to be any little problem is escalated and blown up, that kind of way. When I think we just need to kind of keep a steady head on things, Just to let people know, if you're watching this on Periscope, I always say it to you, just hit the 3 little dots down the bottom of the screen, press share, it goes onto your Twitter timeline and more people will see it. If you're watching it on YouTube, listen, if you're subscribed, brilliant. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and you get a notification every time we go live. As I said, we have an interview with Abby Hansler on there. It went live this morning. It's only on YouTube if you want to go and watch. But look, moving on from Naby Keita, we're 4 days out now from a game against Arsenal, 5:30 on Saturday at Anfield. Grizz, for you, people are raving about Arsenal at the moment. I don't know why. They scraped against Newcastle, they scraped against Burnley, but having said that, they're only 2 games into a season, much like us, so you can't read a lot into it. A lot of people seem to be making the point that they look good going forward, or they have the tools to go forward, but look very open at the back. What sort of game do you expect come Saturday evening?
Yeah, I was joking with you guys in the WhatsApp a couple of days ago, wasn't I? Saying that, look, we smash them every season just on the basis of sort of probability they do a result. But look, can you remember an Arsenal team that's not been good going forward? Because I can't.
No, that's a very good point.
I mean, I can't remember an Arsenal team of like since probably what's his name, George Graham days, when they were dour to watch, right? Proper boring to watch. Arsenal have always been beautiful to watch going forward, but shabby in at the back and weak in midfield. Now, do you think, or does Shaun think any of those changes they've made the players they bought have made any changes to that spine? No, they've added Pepe, who's a wonderful talent going forward. They've added Ceballos, the midfielder that we've been linked with as well. who's another, attacking midfielder, but will that sort of change their style or approach, or will it make them any more resolute? They've bought a very good player in Tierney, yes, but he's got major injury problems in the last couple of years. Will he play straight away? I don't think he will. He's got issues.
Hasn't played yet this season.
No, of course not. And so Arsenal, look, on their day, we know on their day they can turn up and with their firepower will score 2-3 goals. But am I confident of scoring 5-6 in return? I totally am. I fully expect a usual Liverpool-Arsenal game where, we just overpower them, Gav. We go to the tried and tested midfield. Fabinho, Gini, and Hendo. Ox has a good case to start, but I don't think he will. And we just overpower them. Our front three look tasty against Southampton. I think the panic about our defence and the chances and all this talk about high line is just pure boredom on social media, and all this statos drawing up their lines and getting out their measuring tape. Fuck off. It's 2 games into the season. You can't measure anything. There's no stats that you can go by that anyone would take any seriousness, seriously to measure, if we're playing a high line after 2 fucking games, 2 contrasting games. Do you know what I mean? As well, one at home against Norwich and another, away to Southampton. It's too early. There's no panic. If we remember last year, again, similar time of the season, everyone was worried about how boring we look going forward, and we're playing a very defensive game. So, sometimes you just can't win with certain sections of fan bases. I think everything's rosy. I think everything's positive. I think we're just getting warmed up, lads.
Yeah, I agree we're getting warmed up. Maverick there says Arsenal we must not take anything for granted. Get 3 points. We really need to exploit their defensive weaknesses. North Red says Arsenal are top heavy, so dangerous, but defence is dodgy. He's going to the game and he's expecting a high scoring game. Chris reckons 4-0 to Liverpool, all front 3, and Ox gets 1 to rub salt in the wound. I'll take that absolutely all day long. Sean, I was on the I wasn't on the show last night on the Club podcast, and they were talking about Arsenal and how we seem to have this thing about when they come to Anfield, and we've given them a couple of hidings over the last, more than a couple. I can think of 3 off the top of my head anyway, where we've battered them, and I was making the point that it's Arsenal's mentality, when they come. It's not the actual style of play or the quality of player. It's like when they get to Anfield, they have a mental block. As Grizz said, you see the people they've added to their squad. Tierney won't play. Cabios played against Burnley, was meant to be okay. Pepe looks, from what I've heard, he looks quite lively. But is the mentality thing a huge thing? Because all I'm thinking, Sean, is 5:30 Saturday, Liverpool's first major big game of the season in the Premier League, and we can go and be the only remaining 100% record in the league. It's set up absolutely perfectly for this Liverpool side and the way we like to do things, isn't it?
Absolutely, Gab. Absolutely. And I think you're right in saying as well, there's a huge mentality thing with Arsenal when they come to Anfield. They seem to bottle it all together. There's been a few examples. Even last season, they fell to pieces. What was it, 5-1 we finished up last season?
Yeah.
I think they absolutely, especially at the back, they crumbled in front of us. And I'd expect much the same this week as well coming, because like you're looking at Salah versus Monreal, that's a no-brainer who's going to come out on top there. You have Bobby pulling David Luiz and Socrates all over the place. And then you have that young lad, Maitland-Niles, is it, at right back, playing against Mane. Like, we have the ability to absolutely tear them apart again. And I don't think they have the mentality, as you say, to come to Anfield, set up properly, and actually do us any damage whatsoever. I think we win the game comfortably.
Well, I said 4-1. And the reason I said 4-1 is because I'm a little bit of a pessimist when it comes to clean sheets. But I just thought that, look, I went through their back 4, and I just thought there was so many places we could get at them. And
so just a quick one on that.
Yeah.
Right. So Sean touched on the mentality as well. And did you guys read the managers again?
Yeah, Chris, you're right. Yeah. Emery.
Possibly. We can't be unfair and not give Klopp's comments context and not Unai Emery. So maybe Unai Emery was giving a bit of tongue-in-cheek, saying it tongue-in-cheek about, we really don't want to play Liverpool. But it's actually true. we are nasty to play against. Honestly, I mean, can you imagine an opposing team? Even the legendary Cockwomble, that was Neil Warnock, said we're the hardest team he's ever played against. You know, and why he said that was because they're so non-stop. We are so non-stop, and that's exactly what Arsenal hate: teams that are non-stop against them. Look, I rate Unai Emery, right? And as I said to you, Gav, earlier,